Hey guys, what's going on? So we are now looking at Friday market breakdown. We're looking at the DXY. It is looking like it is just sitting in this very nice little corrective zone here. We did come from a sort of corrective squeeze high. We did tap into this inflection point over here as well. So the interesting thing about it is obviously we've pushed up quite impulsively and we are potentially making our way up, but we have cleared quite a lot of corrective price and we moved very impulsively. There's potential for a nice little pullback in this area, so we could be looking for a short play. Evaluating it on the higher time frame, it's definitely a strategic area to be entering the market, but we are trading counter related pairs. Personally, I don't trade the DXY, so I just trade things that correlate with it. So looking at it, it's looking pretty good. We are correcting. It's been a very corrective squeeze on the way up. However, on the higher time frame, it does look very impulsive. So, there isn't any sort of opportunity that kind of jumps out to me at this point and says, hey, look, listen, this is where we want to be getting into a short position on the DXY. But this sort of little small tight squeeze correction over here, this is something that, you cannot just not look at really. So that's basically it for the DXY. We've got the Japanese 225, which we're basically looking at all yen pairs. I guess you've probably seen this and thinking, okay, you've changed it up. You're looking at quite a lot of different stuff right now. Well, I filtered through my pairs, and the yen pairs were definitely the ones that I wanted to put all my focus on. So I went through the yen pairs and basically picked out the best ones that I wanted to be monitoring, and it happens to be these. These happen to be shaping up. It would be kind of reckless for me not to be monitoring the yen pairs. So I thought, if I am going to be looking at something, I want to put my full focus in one area and size them up and see which one shapes up to be the best one to get involved in. Could be a short run, could be a long run, but this is definitely one where I forecasted to be very patient. So obviously, as you can see here, we're forecasting a head and shoulders. If we go onto the higher time frame, we can see where we are in structure. We've met in with the all-time high. So this is something where it's a very, very valuable area. Looking at it on the weekly candle, we can see it's very impulsive. So we've approached this in a very impulsive manner. I don't expect price to just turn around here. I expect us to probably sit or hover in this area before we sell off, but who knows? Price can surprise us and just drop off. So I am looking at this to potentially become a head and shoulders, looking at how price is correcting sideways at the moment. Um, Although it is very possible that we can just sell off from here as well, keeping that in mind. So looking at that on the JP225, that's basically my forecast for it now. Jumping straight into the watch list, we can see here with Euro Japanese yen, something which is very interesting. If we look at it on the daily, we can see that there is the potential for this larger pattern to form, which obviously can take some days, can even take weeks, but we have this larger structure here that we can't neglect, and obviously trading into this point over here, which I think is the larger structure, which could potentially play out. Doesn't have to, but it's a potential. Then on top of that, if we go into the daily and see what we're looking at, we can see that we're basically in this tight squeeze here where we're pushing up, coming back down, and we're basically sitting in this zone here. There's a strong possibility that this can sell off from this area here right now. However, I am looking for some sort of reversal structure, but this expanding could potentially give this the push higher that obviously, we need to be also very much aware of. Looking at CAD yen, we can also see that we are hovering in this area, and this is an area to be extremely patient with. I think as people who are entering this market and looking at this right now, we need to be very sharp and realize that you know despite the fact that we are where we are, we have to understand that we can hover in this area before we sell off. So we need to just understand that price is sitting over here right now. There is the possibility for this formation, and it just kind of just pushes up, taps into this, and then maybe we get a sell off, who knows. But looking at this sort of formation, this structure, this isn't my typical sort of structure for the short. However, we have got a decent pattern within a pattern. We've basically come in from this correction, we've broken through the correction, and now we've just correctively squeezed, and this becomes its own little pattern in terms of a potential reversal. However, we have to wait and see. USD yen is one that I'm already involved in. So we can see here that if we look at it on the daily, we haven't quite reached that all-time high. However, we've had that strong push down, which we saw quite similar with the DXY and the corrective, and we had the near miss gap over here, which is a little bit more clear on the 4 hour. We can see here we had the near miss and we've now filled it. However, we did approach impulsively, so I am looking for a solid push down and a flag. This trade over here, we can see that it's basically just hovering around my entry at the moment. So, and I'll show you that in a second on the AFT sort of side of things. We have had this 1, 2, 3 leading into it, equal spacing, nice arcing nature. And then if we go on to the 15, it becomes a little bit more apparent. So this is basically where the trade gets interesting. Are we looking to go short here?